Back in the early 80s, I was invited by the Association for Supervision and Curriculum Development to edit a book called Developing Minds. And in order to do this, I invited people from throughout the world who were very familiar and leaders in thinking skills. And I invited them to send in chapters for me to consider in the book. So I invited people like David Perkins from Harvard, Edward de Bono from Malta, Bob Sternberg from Yale, John Bransford, Alan Glatthorn from the University of Pittsburgh, and so on. And I began receiving all of these chapters related to thinking skills and what good thinkers are. And as I was editing them, I began to see some similarities and some patterns and some commonalities among all of them. Now, they didn't all say exactly the same thing or use the same words, but they were describing what is it that good thinkers do. I also looked at definitions of critical thinking from Bob Ennis and Alec Fisher and so on, and began to see some patterns. And so I started putting them together. And while one person may have said, well, like de Bono said, well, collect all facts, for example, as part of his court process. But then Bob Ennis said, well, you need to think before you act. Don't jump to conclusions. And so I began to see some patterns here. And so I began to link them together and to classify them. At the same time, I was working with Reuven Feuerstein, the Israeli psychologist. And he had a program called Instrumental Enrichment. And what he was doing was describing the attributes of good thinkers and how he was training good thinkers to become even more effective in their thinking. And so he gave me some classification names as well. Well, I began to put these together, and we started with about 7 habits of mind. And then we moved to 10, and then 12, and now we have 16. And so what these are really are a synthesis of what effective thinkers do in many walks of life.